it's a different one. I'll see later on tonight if it just continued or if it is two recordings. Okay, so basically, I just want us to start thinking about study unit 1 again. What I will do for you guys is, as we go through it, I will again just say, okay, study unit 1, we're looking at the introduction to data collection and the things that is important for you to understand. And this is normally linked to some of the key outcomes that the lecturer also, when he goes to the final, before you'll nearly get a one or two page from the lecturer to say, this is what we need to focus on. It stays the same every year. So I basically just copied it from last year to say, okay, but what we need to do from study unit 1 is understand the key terms and basic concepts of statistics. So remember when we started off, things like statistics, samples, population, parameters, those kind of questions will be asked to you, where you need to, and it's normally very, very definition questions. So they will tell you, is it right or wrong if I say a sample is connected to a population, or is a sample connected to a statistic? Is a parameter connected to a population? So it will be those kind of things that will be asked in a definition question. And then the second part of study unit 1 looks at the types of variables. So if it's nominal, discrete, and the levels of measurement. So you can get, what is it? The nominal, discrete, quantitative, qualitative, all those kind of things that is between the types of variables and their levels. So that is nearly the three things in study unit 1 that is critical for you to know. In the exam, as I said previously in the session, about 2 questions per study unit. So you will probably get a question to look at sample versus parameter versus population versus statistic as one of your questions, and then 1 or 2 questions on types of variables and levels of measurement. So let's go into a few. We'll leave some of it for later when we start also looking at big time at your prep for the exam. What I've included for you guys in this as well is out of a textbook. Sometimes they talk about scales of measurement. So, and I think there was in the assignment, maybe they talked about it as well. So what's your weakest form of measurement versus your strongest form of measurement? So again, this part is more nearly for us to use. You can, again, nearly, when I share it, keep it. If I ask it in the exam, you have it. What I've included is sometimes they ask the weird questions like, can you work out the median or mean if you look at nominal data? So what's created here is a summary of what types of things you can get with the certain data measurements, so the scales of measurement. So if you look at ratio, you can do anything with a ratio. So you can get order, you can do frequencies, you can do mode, medium, or median, mean. So anything like that you can do with a ratio scale. Interval, nearly everything. Ordinal, but less. Nominal, very few. So nominal data, you can only do counts and you can only do a mode. So you can't do anything else. So that again really shows you that nominal is the weakest form of measurement because it actually does not do a lot, where ratio is the strongest form of measurement because you can use ratios with nearly any other possible calculation. That if you look at that is measurements that we do later on in study 2 and 3 again. So you can see ratio we can nearly use across the board. Okay, so that's also how the weakest and the strongest is correlated. Okay, so in this question, they said to us a nominal scale of measurement is the weakest form. So let's check. Again, you're writing open book. You can use this as a data source. You can use online calculators. You can use Excel. You can use your study guide. You can use your textbook. The only thing that you can't use is to chat with somebody else. Okay, so when in the exam, you guys will use, what is that tool? Iris will be used. So Iris basically picks up you as person, the picture that's on your student or that you needed to actually scan into the Iris system. So it will pick up that it's you that's writing. And then what it will also pick up is if there's somebody else with you in the room. So again, try to avoid writing when, again, we're now not even focusing on the study unit, but when you do the exams, try not to write in a place where there is lots of movement, because unfortunately Iris will be able to pick that up. Okay, so let's just look at this. So nominal weakest, that is right. Yes, Peter.
Sorry, Gene, and sorry, colleagues. And I know we're not, but just on this Iris, this is my first time. I have written before, and I used that the other. I
Yes.
can't get the name now.
Yeah, there's another one that is built into the Moodle platform. So yeah, last year we had lots of issues with Iris, to be honest. And for some of the guys that are repeating it, they can tell you horrendous stories of the night before the exam. It was only told to them that they are actually going to use Iris. So let me just make 100% sure again, but be prepared for Iris, because that is what nearly everybody is using at the moment. There is a tool built into the Moodle platform, which I know we would have used last year, but again, like very short notice at 9 or 10 the night before the exam, it was told that the students need to use Iris. So I rather prepare us for Iris, and then hopefully we don't use it. But worst case is that it will be Iris.
Okay, Gene, tell me, what is Iris? Do we have to load it?
It will be, I'll send you a whole like a installment and things like that. So I will get you a whole presentation on that. So because again, if there's any students that that's using a work laptop for
Yeah.
their exams, they will probably need their IT department to give them access to Iris. Sometimes IT departments block certain things, so I will share that Iris link for you guys, just to make sure that those things are already on your computers and things like that. Hopefully, we don't need to use it, but just I don't want to go through that chaos of last year again.
Sorry, Gene. I work for Eskom, and they're very sticky with IT-related stuff. If
I
they
know.
do not allow it, then what happens? Because I use Eskom's laptop.
Yeah. Yeah, let me find out. Um, let I have contact with the lecturer, so let me find out what needs to happen, because yeah, Peter, you will probably not be the only one that have those questions as well. So let me just make sure for you guys what's the procedures, and then if you need to get things installed, then at least you have time. And I know the same with my work. So you need to be really very specific while things are being installed. So let me just, and if then it is that we get some kind of letter or something from UNISA that you can use to show to your employer, that's maybe also a route that we can go. So let me just, I'll get you the information on Iris
Thanks.
that's needed. Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's look at this question. So nominal scale weakest, happy, ratio scale strongest. Okay, so that is cool. So that one is correct, but we're looking for the incorrect one. Okay, the mean and median cannot be determined for a nominal scale. Mean and median cannot be determined. Okay, that's true. So that's why you see when I added this, very easily now you can answer these questions. If we didn't add this, it would have been, oh, okay, we now need to think very hard on what we need to do. So let's look at quantitative continuous variables result from measuring attributes of an element. Okay, quantity, continuous variables result from measuring attributes of an element. Oh, not so 100% sure about that one. Ordinal scale of measurement is higher than interval. Ordinal higher than interval? Nope. Interval is higher than ordinal. So that one is the incorrect one. Quantitative discrete variables result from counting attributes of an element. Okay, discrete. Remember, discrete is values like 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's definitely counting. So that is correct. Quantitative continuous variables result from measuring attributes of an element. That one is also correct. And then, so just on on this one, option C, continuous variables is just so you're measuring something like distance, you're measuring something like time. So it is measuring attributes of an element. So basically it's around the measuring of. So continuous variables will look at, a question could have been, the students in this Teams meeting, how long have you been studying for this course? It's different for any one of you. If we measure it in time, there's different times. It would have been different if we said, how many hours have you been studying? But then we're counting, because when it's 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hours, it's not the 1.145 hours or anything like that. So when we say how many hours, we're counting. If we say, how long did it take you to complete the task? I don't know. It could have been for Peter 1 hour. It could have been for Ian 1 hour, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. It could have been for Tabang 1 hour, 1 minute, 20 seconds. So we don't know, unless we say it is how in hours, how long did it take you? So that is nearly the big difference between the continuous and the discrete. Again, is discrete is very, in kilograms, how much do you weight, or how much do you weigh? Then I need to say, well, it is 80, 90, 100, 110, or something like that. But if I ask you, I want to get something in kilograms or in that sense as well. So the weight of the basket of lemons that you bought could be anything, unless I tell you what was the weight in kilograms. When you know, again, it is a discrete. Okay, so the continuous is more measuring, where the discrete is counting. Okay, so what we've done in this question, you had the nominal, ordinal scales, and you had the continuous. So it basically covered both of those two in one, which is probably more likely to be how they would ask it in the exam. The second question, you can see this was from COVID time, so a lot of the questions during 2020 and 2021 was COVID related questions. So here they said, okay, information on the following variables was gathered amid the COVID-19 global pandemic. Which of the following statements is incorrect? Okay, so medical cost of each patient in rands, quantitative, discrete variable. Okay, that seems actually quantitative is right, discrete is right, so that seems correct. Am I missing something? Medical cost of each patient in rands, it's quantitative, discrete. Okay, so that feels to me is correct. So I'm still looking for the incorrect one. The name or list of provinces affected by COVID-19 is a qualitative nominal variable. The name or list of provinces, so we know when we look at provinces, Western Cape, Gauteng, KZN, those provinces, it's all qualitative. And it is nominal because nominal is the one that has no ranking. It would have been different if they said the name of the top 3 provinces affected most by COVID-19, then there is a ranking involved. But here we just list the provinces, so it is nominal. So that one is also correct. Common COVID-19 symptoms was cough, fever, tiredness, shortness of breath. So let's look. It's qualitative, yes, because qualitative refers to all those kind of things. Again, it's nominal because there wasn't, again, mentioned of most severe symptom or anything like that. So again, that is correct. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases is quantitative discrete variable, quantitative discrete variable. Number of, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 100, 1,000, whatever. So again, quantitative discrete variable is correct. Oh, why does it seem like everything is correct? So we might need to relook the numbers, but it feels like everything is correct. The severity of symptoms, okay, so mild, moderate, severe is qualitative. So yes, it is qualitative. Ordinal, because there's order in it. That one is also correct. Can all 5 of them be correct? Which one? Did I miss something here? Okay, so this nearly looks like it's definitely not a that is one answer. So this seems like one of those that is actually, seems like all of them are correct. Medical cost in rands. So if it's rands, it is 1 rand, 10 rand, 100 rand, 50 rand. So that wait. Okay. So okay, so I will check this one out a bit. Okay, so the cost of each patient. So the patient cost is definitely quantitative discrete. But if you look at each cost, but it's in rand, so that is, your cost would have been 100, mine would have been 200, so that is a discrete variable. So that is correct. So it seems like, so again, when it comes to your exam, when you get something like this, in the exam where you now, on that day that you write exam, I will be on WhatsApp. So you can tell me, John, question 1, if this was question 1, you tell me on a WhatsApp, the chat will be muted. So don't worry, the chat I will mute so that we don't get into trouble. But if you get a question like this where you feel like, shoo, I've now worked through everything here, I don't really see that there's anything incorrect, you send me a WhatsApp and you tell me, John, I think question 1, there's a mistake. I'm not going to be able to assist you or anything, but I can flag that with the lecturer, so that he can go and make sure if there was a mistake then with question 1, they will flag it. It will not count towards the exam, or they will give you the 4 points or whatever. So if something like this happens in the exam, please let me know, because sometimes what happens is they use the same question. They might change something, but then in that process, they haven't changed the answers or anything like that. So it might happen that there is a question in the exam that you feel is not correct, but then let me know. Because for me, all of these are correct. So I don't know if you guys agree with me or if I'm missing something. So if I've missed one of these, please also tell me, John, no, I think there's one that is wrong, but for me, this is all correct. But then, yeah, if this happens in the exam, please, you can let me know. Okay, so here, and let's move that a bit up. So here's one that is looking at just simply that we need to look at nearly the first part of study unit 1. So which one is correct? So what I always say is with the so the statistics, that goes with sample. So how I remember it is nearly the S and the S. Parameters, that goes with population. And again, nearly the P with a P. So let's quickly, a statistic is a summary measurement calculated from a population. Okay, so I'm already questioning that, but let's just see a summary calculated from a population. So that again is something different, where a statistic is taken from. So let's just mark that one. A population is a set of all elements in a particular study. Okay. A statistic is a property of population. And no. So that one is also wrong. A sample mean is a population parameter. No. A sample mean is a sample parameter, not a sample standard deviation is a population. No. Sample standard deviation is a sample parameter. Or if you want to then say, yeah, so it goes with that one. So a population is a set of all elements in a particular study. Okay, so that one is correct. So what we would normally say is, okay, let's look at the population of UNISA, and then a sample will be the stats class. So your population is everything of that study, where the sample is then a particular grouping within the study. Okay, so population is a set of all elements of a particular study. So that one is definitely the correct one. The other one you can see, please, the S with the S, the P with the P, that is not happening. So it's not at all. So the statistic is not a summary measure of a population. Okay. Okay, so very similar. So let me move that up to that point. Very similar. So again, look at a few things. So again, which one is correct? A statistic is a summary measure calculated from a population. Sure, very close to that one. Is it exactly the same question? No. So this will be, if I ask these two in the exam, I'll be very confused because it seems very similar, but there is a few that is different. A sample is a set of all elements of a particular. Okay, so now that one is wrong because it should be a population. So just some of the options has been tweaked a bit. So what will also happen in your exam is, and you would now have seen it in your assignments, is when you get your first attempt, you do, and when you do your second attempt, you see it's different questions. The same will happen in your exam where everybody will be writing, but there will be 3 or different exam papers. So for each question, there is 3 or 4 different questions that will be asked. So it could have been that the one set in the exam is getting this question, and the next group is getting this question. Very similar types of things have been included, but suddenly the one group has B as the correct option, and here again, so if you selected B, would have been wrong. So again, they trying just to eliminate that somebody is sending somebody else a WhatsApp and say the answer for question one is B, because you can see different nearly set of question, different answers, different options. Okay, a statistic is a property of a population. Nope. A sample mean is a population parameter. No, it is a sample statistic. A sample standard deviation is a statistic. Okay, sample standard deviation is a statistic. So that is the correct one. Okay, so you could nearly have seen now between these two questions, there will be a question in the exam around statistic with parameters, sample, and population. Okay, we've done that. So let's do one more, and then we can stop for the evening. So which one of the following statements is correct regarding variables and descriptive stats? So it might already be that this is referring to study unit 2 in a sense, but let's see if it's mostly covered for study unit 1. Qualitative variables use labels or names to describe attributes of elements. Qualitative, yes, it uses labels or names. So like we had here where that was qualitative, so labels of names. So cough, fever, tiredness, that is labels or names that are given to describe the elements. So that is correct. Okay, so that was actually the correct one. let's just see why the others are incorrect, or if there's maybe another mistake. So quantitative variables have either a nominal or ordinal scale. That is incorrect. So let me quickly, quantitative as a discrete or continuous scale. Nominal, ordinal is actually qualitative. So quantitative, just for two, continuous, discrete. Okay, measuring attributes of an element results in a quantitative discrete variable. Measuring must be continuous and not discrete. Counting is discrete, measuring is continuous. Okay, so that is incorrect. Quantitative variables are also referred to as categorical. Nope. Qualitative is categorical. And then the last one, descriptive statistics is the process of using data from a sample to make estimates and test hypotheses about characteristics of a population, i.e. drawing conclusions a population based on sample results. Two, descriptive statistics is the process of using data from a sample to make estimates and test hypotheses about characteristics of a population. Okay, it's the other way around. Descriptive statistics is the process of using data from a population to make estimates and test hypotheses and characteristics of a sample, i.e. drawing conclusions a population based on sample results, i.e. drawing conclusions of a sample based on population results. So that one is just the opposite. So that is why that one is also wrong. Okay, so nearly when we get to your exam prep, we will also go through some of the others, and you can see there's lots of things that I've taken out of previous exam papers that we will cover. But this is nearly just a quick recap of study unit 1, where we looked at the difference between samples, populations, and then, as we said, types of variables and levels of measurement. Okay, so next time, nearly, I think we'll do study unit 11. When we've covered all of the study units that you, let me just stop the recording. We can chat just